Hello students, welcome to zoology class. Today I am going to start with a new topic, that is the strategies for enhancement of food production. And this is the first part of this topic, that is the strategies for enhancement of food production. And in this topic we will start with animal husbandry. So what is animal husbandry? With the ever increasing population, the requirement for nutritious food has risen steeply across the world, and since time immemorial, animals have been an integral part of agriculture, and they have been used to derive milk, meat, eggs, wool, silk, and for labor, etc. As the animals are so crucial part of agriculture, they require proper care and management. And according to some estimates, more than 70% of the world's total livestock population is in India and China. However, their contribution to the world farm produce it is only 25%. This means that the productivity per unit it is very low, and this led to the concept of animal husbandry. So where a more scientific approach to caring and breeding of farm animals is provided. It means, what is animal husbandry? You know that our population is growing at an ever increasing rate. So there is a requirement for more food, and so for providing food to all the population, there is a need to increase the production of the food. And for the production of the food, animals are the agriculture, this is the main thing. And the animals, they have been used to get milk, meat, eggs, wool, silk, and for labor also the animals are used. And so most of the animals, most of the cattle in the world, they are in either China or in India. That is 70% of livestock. Livestock means cattle. So the population of livestock or the cattle is in India or in China mostly, that is 70%. So the food production has to be increased, and the contribution of India and China in farm produce is only 25%. So the need arises for the proper caring and proper production of these animals, and so this led to the concept of animal husbandry. And so what is animal husbandry? It is a scientific approach to caring and breeding of the farm animal. So for increasing the production of the food for the ever increasing population, there is a need of animal husbandry. So what is the definition of animal husbandry? Animal husbandry, it is an agricultural practice of feeding, healthcare, shelter, breeding, and raising livestock like buffaloes, cows, pigs, horses, cattle, sheep, camel, goat, etc. So what is animal husbandry actually? Animal husbandry, it is an agricultural practice, and in this there is a proper feeding of the livestock, then the health care is also taken care of, then the shelter, breeding, and raising of the livestock like the buffaloes, cows, pigs, horses, sheep, camel, and goat, it is also done in animal husbandry. So in animal husbandry, besides the rearing and caring of the livestock or the cattle, it also includes beekeeping. Beekeeping means apiculture, and poultry farming is also included in animal husbandry. And besides this, fisheries, and what is the other name for fisheries? Pisciculture. So all these four concepts, they are taken care of under one name, that is animal husbandry. So in animal husbandry, we have to study about the cattle, and then beekeeping, poultry farming, and pisciculture. So what is the advantage of animal husbandry? So animal husbandry, it has number of advantages. First is increased milk production through cattle farming, then increased production of eggs through poultry farming, and then improvement in quality of meat through fish farming, that is pisciculture, and the production of honey and wax through beekeeping, that is the apiculture. So in animal husbandry, we take four concepts, that is the cattle farming, poultry farming, fish farming or pisciculture, then beekeeping or the apiculture. So these four things we take up under animal husbandry. Then I told you that there are four things which are included in the animal husbandry: cattle farming, beekeeping, apiculture, and pisciculture. So we have to take care of four aspects of the birds, of the, that is the poultry, of the animals, then bees, and then the fishes. So these are the four aspects, and we have to take care of those animals. We have to take care of proper feeding of animals, then proper shelter of animals, whether they are fishes or they are bees or animals, then proper care of animals against diseases, then proper breeding of animals. So these are the four concepts which we have to take care of, and we have to take care of these four concepts in the field of cattle farming, in apiculture, pisciculture, and there is the poultry farming. So these are the four fields, and first of all we will take up cattle farming. Then first comes the cattle farming. So cattle farming, for the concept of cattle farming, there is a dairy farm management. There is a need for dairy farm management in cattle farming. And what is dairy farm management? This is the management of the animals that provide milk, and the animals which provide milk, they are known as the milch animals, and the goal is to enhance the quantity and the quality of the milk produced, and for this purpose high yielding and disease resistant breeds, they are maintained in a strictly hygienic manner with proper housing, that is shelter, adequate water supply, and nutrient rich fodder. So these things we have to take care of to enhance the quality and the quantity of the milk. So regular inspection and record keeping ensures that a good high quality yield is generated. So these things have to be done for the dairy farm management. And what is the importance of cattle farming? Cattle farming is done for two purposes. Number one, it is for dairy, that is for getting the milk, and second one are the draught animals which are used for agriculture tasks or agriculture work like tilling, irrigation, and carting. So the animals are used in the fields, and those animals are known as draught animals, and dairy animals, they are used for getting milk. And the basis of the above these two types, the cattle are divided into two categories. And what are the two categories of animals? Number one is the milch breeds. These are the dairy animals. These include the animals which are kept for obtaining milk. They are the milch animals. And Indian milch cattle, they belong to two different species. They are the cows, and the zoological name of the cow is the Bos indicus, this is the Indian cow, and buffaloes, this is the Bos bubalis. So cows and buffaloes, they are the main milk animals in India. And what are the draught animals in India? These animals are used in agriculture fields and they are also used for transportation. So these are the two types of animals, milch animals for milk and draught animals for agricultural work. So these are the two types of animals, and for this purpose cattle farming is required. Then first of all, we will study about the shelter and the feeding of the cattle. And in this topic, we have to study first of all the important points for good health and shelter of cattle. How to maintain the shelter of the cattle. So do not make the cattle shed near the road. Shed should be 900 square feet away from the road. It means the shed of the cattle should be away from the road, and there should be proper ventilation. It should be airy, and arrangement for sunlight should be there in the shed. And shed should always be 2 feet high from the field, because water flows in the lower area, which results in contamination, and also the excretion of the animal is also drained. And if the shed is present at 2 feet high, then the excreta of the animals will flow down in the field and the shed will remain clean. So this is the purpose why shed should be made 2 feet high from the field. Then the manger for cattle should be 2.5 to 3 feet broad. An animal needs around 4 feet to stand on the cliff. That means 40 feet long manger is needed for 10 animals. So what is manger? It is the place for the cattle to feed. It should be 2.5 to 3 feet broad, and it should be made proper, and one animal needs around 4 feet to stand for eating the fodder. It means 40 feet long space is needed for 10 animals. So it should be properly spaced, and animals should be regularly brushed to remove the dirt and the loose hair. So it's in this way the shelter of the cattle should be taken care of. Then make a store to keep the things related to dairy farm. It is very necessary that the store for animal feed should be moisture free. So there should be a store for keeping the things related to the dairy farm, and that store should be moisture free. And animals should be sheltered under roofed shed to protect them from rain, heat and cold. That the shed should be roofed so that animals could be protected against the rain, heat and cold. Then floor should be worn non-slippery and easy to clean. Then leave the animals open in the shed with proper arrangement of fodder and water. And leaving the animals open in the shed reduces bloating and other problems in animals. So animals should be free to move in the shed, and they should be provided with proper arrangement of fodder. It means feed and water. So there should be no problem for the animals. They should live properly in the shed. Next comes the food requirement for animals. And the dairy animals, they have two types of food requirement. Number one is for maintenance and the other is for milk producing. So first is the maintenance requirement. For health maintenance, food materials that include different types of vitamins, proteins and other nutrients which are necessary for their healthy and disease-free lifespan. So this type of food is for maintenance, and the other is for milk producing requirement. milk producing requirement is the main aim for the harvesting of these animals. That is why different fibrous food materials are necessary for the well maintenance of the lactation capabilities of these animals. It means they should be given proper food so that they should produce more and more milk. And what is the fodder for these animals or dairy animals? The prepared animal feed, it consists of two parts. Number first is the roughage and number two is the concentrate. These are the two types of feeds which should be given to the dairy animals. Number one is the roughage. Roughage is rich in fiber, coarse and low in nutrient, and it is like green fodder, hay, straw material and legume. So in roughage, animals are provided with the green fodder, hay, straw material and legumes which are rich in fiber and coarse and they are low in nutrient. And the second portion of the fodder, it is concentrates, and these are with high level of protein and low fiber, which includes grains of maize, oats, barley, jowar and their byproducts like wheat bran, rice bran and seed cakes. And these are the types of the food which animal has to be provided. And animals need a daily supply of all nutrients required for maintenance and for production of milk. So these two types of foods, that is roughage and concentrates, they are given to the food for maintenance of the health and for producing good quality of and good quantity of milk. And what is the average daily requirement of the cow? A cow on the daily basis takes roughage about 15 to 20 kg, that is green fodder. Then cow is given concentrate in the form of grain mixture about 4 to 5 kg, and cow consumes about 30 to 35 liters of water in one day. So this is the requirement of the cow on the daily basis. Then varieties of dairy breeds. There are many varieties of dairy breeds, and for dairy farm management, the best qualities of breeds, they are interbreeded to get quality wise and quantity wise good production of the milk. So what are the breeds of the cow? So breeds of the cow, these are the indigenous. First of all, indigenous breed. Indigenous breeds means which belong to our own country. And what are the indigenous breeds of cow in our country? They are Sahiwal, Gir, Red Sindhi and Tharparkar. So these are the Indian cows. So what are the exotic breeds? Means they are the breeds of other countries. So these are Jersey cow, then brown Swiss, then Holstein Friesian. So these are the exotic breeds of the cow. And what are the crossbreeds? Crossbreed means they are formed by the breeding of the indigenous and the exotic breeds. They are Curran Swiss, Curran Fries and Fries Ball. So these are the crossbreeds of the cows. Then comes the breeds of the buffaloes. And the breeds of the buffaloes, they are the Murrah, then Meshana and Surti. So these are the different breeds of the cows and the buffaloes. Then the important aspect is the animal breeding. And animal breeding, it is of two types. One is the inbreeding and other is the outbreeding. And what is inbreeding? Inbreeding means the breeding between the same breeds, and outbreeding means between the different breeds. When we talk about inbreeding means we talk about the breeding between the same breeds, and when we talk about outbreeding, it means outbreeding is between different breeds. And outbreeding is further divided into three types of breeding. First is the outcrossing, second is the crossbreeding, and the third one is interspecific hybridization. So these are the three different types of breeding, different types of outbreeding. So first of all, we will take up inbreeding. So I told you that it refers to the practice of mating closely related superior males to superior females within the same breed for 4 to 6 generations. It means in this type of breeding, that is inbreeding, for 4 to 6 generations, the animals of the same breed with superior males and superior females, they are mated and the offsprings are produced, and the superior males and females among the progenies, they are further mated for 4 to 5 generations. However, continued close inbreeding eventually decreases fertility and productivity, and this phenomena is known as inbreeding depression. Now, what is the disadvantages of inbreeding? That after 4 to 6 generations, or after many generations, what happens that the offsprings which are produced, their fertility becomes less and their productivity becomes less, and this is a phenomena which is known as inbreeding depression, and then there is a need of outbreeding. So now comes the outbreeding. So outbreeding, it is the breeding of the unrelated animals that can be carried out in three different fashions. That I told you that outbreeding can be done in three ways. First is when two unrelated individuals of the same breed which do not have common ancestor for the past 4-6 generations are mated. It is called outcrossing. So what is outcrossing? In this, the individuals of the same breed are mated, but they do not have the common ancestor for the past some generations. So this is known as outbreeding or outcrossing. Then the second comes the when mating between a superior male of one breed and superior female of another breed is done to give a progeny with the combined qualities of both the breeds, and this is known as crossbreeding. So crossbreeding means the mating between the superior male of one breed and superior female of other breed, that is both are from different breeds, and this is known as crossbreeding. And when males and females across different related species are mated, it is known as interspecific hybridization. So when the males and females are from different species, and this is known as interspecific hybridization or interspecific mating. So these are the three types of outbreeding. One is known as outcrossing, when there is a mating between the individuals of the same breed but no common ancestor. Then there is come the crossbreeding, which is mating between the superior male of one breed and superior female of another breed. And the third is the interspecific hybridization. In this, the males and females, they are from differently related species. So these are the three types of outbreeding. And apart from the conventional outbreeding and inbreeding breeding techniques, controlled breeding experiments are also conducted utilizing artificial insemination to yield the desired mating. So sometimes artificial insemination is also done to get the desired product, and to improve the chances of obtaining successful hybrids, programs like multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology, that is MOET, this technology is used to get the desired product. So these are the different types of the breeding. Now the next aspect in cattle farming comes the diseases of the cattle. The diseases of the dairy animals, they are broadly classified into number one, diseases which are caused by parasites, and external parasites are the ticks, mites, lice, and internal parasites are the worms. So first this type of diseases, they are the parasitic diseases, and the second type of diseases in cattle, it is the communicable or the infectious diseases, and these are caused by pathogens like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. And the third type of diseases in cattle, they are the non-communicable or non-infectious diseases, and they are caused due to the deficiency of the nutrients or the malfunctioning of the body organs. So these are the three types of diseases in cattle. Number one is parasitic diseases, number two communicable diseases, number three non-communicable diseases. And now what are the symptoms of sick animals? How we can know that the animal is suffering from some disease? When animal suffers from disease, the animal becomes inactive, and animal remains isolated, and it stops eating food, then it moves slowly or it limps, and the animal may pass loose dung or colored urine, and the animal may run temperature and shiver. So the milk yield or the working capacity of the animal is also reduced drastically. So these are the symptoms of the sick animals. Next comes the prevention of cattle diseases. How we can prevent the cattle diseases? The animals should be kept in spacious, clean, and airy shelter. Then the animals should be given nutritious food. Then the animals should be vaccinated at regular intervals, and proper disposal of waste and isolation of sick animals is also very important to prevent them from the diseases. So these are the points which we should be taken care of to prevent the cattle from the diseases. So this is all for today. Today we have studied about different aspects of cattle farming, how to manage the cattle farm, how to manage the shelter, what should be given to the animals, and what are the different types of animals, milch animals or draught animals, what are the different breeds of cows and buffaloes, then what are the different types of diseases of animal, that is communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, and parasitic diseases, and then what are the symptoms of the sick animals, and then how to prevent the diseases of the cattle. So these were the some of the aspects in cattle farming which we have studied today. You have to prepare notes for this topic, and you have to revise the whole of the presentation, and if you find any difficulty, we can discuss those points in the class. Thank you.